What's going on, guys? I'm Mike Berlin. Thank you for watching Wild Fed Family, and on today's video I'm going to show you how I took this deer and turned it into this jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage. So I'm going to take you up to the kitchen and we'll get the process started. Alright, so I got everything laid out on the table, starting with the meat. Right here I got 15 pounds of cubed up venison, and this actually came from the deer in my last video. And what I did was I took the shoulders, I took the neck, and I just cubed it up into little strips so it'd feed down the grinder well. Second, I have some pork from my pig, and this is 10 pounds. So I have 15 pounds of venison, I have 10 pounds of pork from the backyard, and that's gonna make 25 pounds of sausage. Well, that's perfect because what I got here is the AC leg smoked jalapeno sausage seasoning, and it also comes with a packet of cure. Now, as far as the grinder, I have a 3/8 plate on it, and I'm going to do the first grind with the 3/8 plate, second grind with an 1/8" plate, and at the very end I got some casings as well. So that'll get us through the first segment of this, and then we'll move on. So I'm going to start mixing this together, and we'll go from there. So I got the meat out of the bags, broken up, 10 pounds of pork, 15 pounds of venison, and when I say broken up, I mean it was partially frozen, and you want to do that for 3 reasons. One is food safety, so while you're making all this, you want to keep it right about 36 degrees. The second is it's going to cut through your grinder a whole lot easier. The partially frozen meat just cuts better as the blade passes through. And 3, as it goes through your grinder, it creates friction, and you want your grinder parts and your meat to stay cool. Now that I got it chunked up, I got half of the seasoning that I'm going to sprinkle over the top of it. And then I also have half of this cure. And that's about right. So I'm just gonna give this a quick mix, get it worked in a little bit, and then we'll dump the rest of the seasoning in. So there's the light mix. My hands are freezing cold, and I'm just gonna top it off, do it all over again before we send it through the grinder. All right, we're good to go. And the reason that I seasoned the meat prior to sending it through the grinder is so that as it goes through, the grinder is doing all of the mixing for you. And you don't have to worry about really working it in. Once it's ground, let the machine do it, and you're gonna get a more even distribution of your seasonings. That's enough talking, and it's time to grind. All that's been passed through a 3/8 plate, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that off, remove it, and swap it in with this 1/8" plate and redo it, but there's no sense in me showing you that twice. So I'm going to check back when I get done sending this through as a second pass. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is usually you don't have to use this amount of pork. The reason that I am is because I have that amount of pork to use. I have a ton of it cubed up in my freezer, so I went with 10 pounds and 15 pounds. Typically, what you can get away with is 30% of straight pork fat and 70% venison. So just keep that in mind. But I'll be back when it's ready to add the next ingredients. Now, I got the second grind done, and I have 2 more ingredients to add prior to stuffing this into sausage casings, one of which is high temp cheddar cheese. And you want to make sure it's high temp because it gets to about 160 degrees before it melts. If you just use regular cheddar cheese, it's just gonna ooze all out and turn basically into grease inside of your sausage casing. So high temp cheddar cheese, this is 3 pounds. You can probably get away with 2 pounds for a 25-pound batch, but nobody ever complained about extra cheese, so that's what we're doing. The next thing is some jalapeno sauce that I made from the jalapenos from the garden. Now, I took a patty of it and I fried it up right behind me, and everything tasted good, salt content, seasoning, but I do want a little bit more spice in it, so I'm gonna take this sauce, drizzle it in, and I'm gonna mix half batches at a time. So got half the cheese, half the sauce I want, mix it up, and then do it again once it gets worked in a little bit. So that's the rest of the cheese, the rest of the sauce, and then the last thing is gonna be water. Now for every pound of meat, you wanna add about 1 ounce of water. Right here is roughly 20 ounces of water, and I'll see where that gets me. Add it in, mix it up, and if you don't do this, it's gonna be too tacky going through your sausage stuffer and really hard to stuff into casings. All right, so from this point forward, it's pretty simple. I got a 15-pound sausage stuffer. I'm gonna drop it in there, pack in there, get as much of the air bubbles as I can out, fill this thing up, and then we'll get to stuffing some sausages. So right here I got the bowl of natural hog casings that are sitting in some water, and I got the meat just now starting to come out of the horn of the stuffer. So all I gotta do is slide these casings on, and we'll get to filling them up. So I'm spilling the beans a little bit, but all of this is going to go into the smoker and be pre-cooked. So what I'm gonna do is Kielbasa style links that just U-shape link together. So I got this meat tray over here. I'm gonna pump it out, pinch it off, tie it off, and then tie it into a Kielbasa style knot. And that's about right. Here it is, I got 2 done, and they are ready for the smoker, but I have about 25 to 30 left to do. So I'm gonna do those and get back later. All right, so here's the aftermath. There are 29 links, plus I have some that are going on the grill fresh and some that I need to patty up. But for the most part, this is what you're looking for. I got a string tied around them to hang in the smoker tomorrow. But for now, these need to go in the walk-in cooler and let some air circulate around those so that the outside of the casing somewhat dries off, so that you're able to get a nice snap to the casing, and the smoke is gonna stick to it as well. So I'm gonna finish up what we got here and see you at the smoker tomorrow. Well, it is a rainy Saturday morning here in Georgia, and it's a perfect day for smoking meats. So I got the sausage in the cart right next to me. I got everything I need. I need to get the meat hung and the smoker going, and I'll show you the process. All right, y'all, smoker's prepped, ready to go. So the meat is hung, and I have a probe in it, and just stuck to the roof right there, the monitor. But you can touch all these and feel that it is pretty much dry and tacky to the touch. And what you'll notice is that it's a little bit more red than it was last night. Well, that is the cure doing its job and turning that meat a little bit pink, plus that air circulation, drying off the casings and actually hydrating the casing, prepping it for the smoker. Down below, I have some oak chips that I put about 1 ounce of starter fluid on because I have wet wood everywhere. And then on top of here is some real dry hickory. So I'm gonna be smoking this with oak and hickory. But right now, I'm gonna start a fire and I'm gonna get the smoking process started. So I'm gonna keep this door open and let that little bit of starter fluid that I used burn off and the wood chips start to make a coal bed and the hickory catch fire a little bit before I do anything else. But this is a gradual smoking process. Now, I'm gonna be doing a hot smoke. I do want this sausage up to 155 degrees internal temperature, but I'm gonna bring it up slowly. So for the first hour or so, I'm gonna keep it right around 150 to 175 degrees in there. And that is going to allow that casing to really take shape, take on smoke, and it slowly heat up. Now, by the end of it, it's gonna be roughly 225 in there. And the reason that I'm bringing it up slowly is so that you don't rapidly expand that sausage and you don't have casings burst and lose valuable fats and juices and cheese and all the good stuff that you have in that sausage. But here's the thing, you do not have to have a smoker like this in order to make smoked sausage like this. Now, I have a Pit Boss smoker. It's a stand-up with a glass face smoker. And in the past, I've always hung my sausages in there, although it gets a little bit crowded. So I decided to do it in here this time. It's kind of an experiment. This is the first time I've done a true hot smoke in here. But you can see I have a thermometer mounted on the outside of the door. So I'll be able to regulate the temperature. I just need to watch it a little more than I would a pellet smoker. So this fire is going pretty good. And what I'm gonna do here is leave the vent stack open and the flue open. And that's gonna allow it to burn hot and get this roughly to 150 degrees without it overheating the smokehouse. So for now, I'm gonna leave this sausage alone and let it dry out a little bit more. But what I want to do is about a 50-50 hickory and oak smoke. Well, I have a bunch of dry hickory from a tree that I cut down a couple years ago at the house, but I do not have dry oak. I have one down, but it is raining, and that's not the wood I want to use. So I'm actually gonna run to Ingles and do it the easy way, pick up a bag of chunked oak, and I will be right back. All right, little update. We're about an hour and 20 minutes into this smoke, and right now inside the smoker, it's about 130 degrees. And right now I got a probe in the thickest sausage, which is 95 degrees. So it still needs to come up another 60 degrees. But I started this with hickory. Now, I went to the store looking for oak chunks because I want to do 50-50 oak hickory smoke, but I could not find oak chunks. So what I got is some mesquite. Now, I think it's going to be perfect with the jalapeno, and that mesquite smoke is going to add a little south of the border flavor, and I'm going to finish this off with that mesquite smoke. So I'm going to restock this fire and probably bring it up to about 175 degrees inside the smoker and see where we get from there. But I'm going to pop it open real quick and kind of see what it looks like. There we go. That is some nice red smoky looking sausages. So what I want to do here is, you can see the ones in the center are a little bit more cooked. I want to rotate them, make sure everything is getting air circulation. Like, that's not getting a whole lot of smoke, that's not getting a whole lot of smoke. So just kind of spin these sausages around and make sure they're all being heated evenly. And the fire is burned down a little bit, but it's time to restock it. Some mesquite. And I'm gonna put a decent amount in there so that I can get it nice and warm inside this smokehouse and create a nice coal bed. So we went from about 150 to 125 degrees, to about 175 degrees right now. And we're gonna hold that for probably about an hour or two. All right, time to raise the heat one more time. Right now, we are at 136 degrees for the internal temp, and it is dropped down to 150, but it held at 175 for about an hour. So I'm gonna restoke this fire, get the smokehouse up to about 200 degrees, and finish these sausages off. All right guys, this is the final push, and right now I'm right at 150 degrees, if I can get that turned right. There you go. So the reason I'm not using my probe right now is because it got wet and it's not working quite right. Sorry, I had to stop it right there. I got a little smoked out, but I just added a little bit more wood. Gonna get the flame going, get nice and hot in here, and finish out for that last 5-degree push. So I'm gonna stay down here with it, check it about every 15 minutes, and should be at 155 degrees in no time. So I'm at 155 degrees on the center sausage. Now on the outside, I'm hitting at about 150. So I'm gonna give it about 5 more minutes, and I'm gonna start pulling these out. All right, we're done. So this right here is the final product. Now, you can see the cheddar chunks all the way through it. You see some green from the jalapeno. Nice red color, and I mean, that is perfect. But this is the final test right here. I got a sample. That is phenomenal. Look at the cheese. So good. Let me finish this and I'll wrap this up. All right. Well, that is it. Like I said, final product. But I'm gonna take these, I'm gonna put them in the walk-in cooler, and I'm gonna let them gradually cool. Now, after that, they're pre-cooked. I'm gonna vacuum seal them. All I have to do is take them out, put them on the grill, heat them up, throw them in a frying pan, doesn't matter. Just bring them up to eating temperature. But this is probably 30 different meals for my family, just from 2 days of work and a little bit of hunting. So get in the woods, get in the garden, and go out there and get good food for your family and have fun making it. But for now, I am going hunting with my brother-in-law, and I'll see you on the next video.